Hey there, welcome to the Radical Godly Stewardship podcast, episode number 13, where today we're going to be talking about diversifying kingdom income streams. It is so important that we talk about this. We need to think about the different types of income streams that we can generate. We need to understand how we can balance them in a way that aligns with biblical stewardship. And so we're going to be unpacking that today. We're going to be unpacking active income, passive income, and portfolio or leveraged income, looking at what percentage each might ideally contribute to our overall revenue as well. Okay, so the tone for today, of course, bold, controversial, challenging, all of that, right? Because it wouldn't be the Radical Godly Stewardship podcast without it. And because in the kingdom, financial growth means more than just working harder. It's about stewarding the types of income that build God's kingdom effectively. So join us or stay with us until right after this intro, and we'll be back. Hey there, wealth saving and investing. And I'm 1 Corinthians chapter 4, verse 1 and 2, saying that finances is not a set forgiveness. Well, welcome back. Welcome back. I am Lexi Johnson, and you are?
Naila
Johnson. All right. And we're going to get into our episode for today, which is on diversifying our kingdom income, right? Our kingdom income streams. So let's get into it. We're going to first start off by talking about the three different types of income. All right, Naila, start us off. Let us know. What is active income?
Active income. This is income earned by direct effort and work such as wages or salary. Think of Proverbs chapter 14, verse 23, which says, all hard work brings a profit, but mere talk leads only to poverty. Active income is essential, especially for those just starting out, but it's not the only way to generate wealth.
All right. So the Bible tells us that we need to work if we want to make a profit, right? That we can't just be talking, that we do have to do some work, and that active income, okay, having to actually show up and do work, that it's essential. And when we're starting out, we may do a lot of this, okay? Showing up to earn the income, trading, what they say, trading dollars for hours or hours for dollars, whatever the case may be, right? You may have to do a lot of that starting out, but it's not the only way to generate wealth. All right. So what is the next type of income?
Passive income. Passive income flows in without the need for continual active work. This includes rental income, royalties, or business income, where others do most of the work. We see the concept of passive income in Matthew chapter 25, verse 14 to 30. In the parable of the talents, where the servants invest what they're given, multiplying resources without needing to be actively involved in every transaction.
All right. Absolutely. Absolutely. So as we see the concept of passive income, right? We have the servants who has a master. They've been doing some work. The master wants to, give them each a little extra something, I guess, for what they've been doing or something to look after while he's gone. And they decide to go and multiply, right? All of them with the exception of one, though. So how can we begin to do that? How can we begin to make passive income? So as Naila shared with you all, you can do it through rental income. You can do it through royalties. You can do it through business income, right? Passive income is where you're going to do some work up front. Okay. So there will be some actively showing up at first, but then once you've done the work and if you've done it in the right way, then you'll be able to generate income without having to show up. So for example, if you have a book, right? Initially, it takes effort. You got to write that book. It takes some time to write that book, right? And you got to get the words together and the thoughts together and all of that, right? So it takes some effort. But after that, the next effort you have to do is in terms of letting people know that the book exists, that it's out there. And if you've done a good job of that, then eventually people will find the book, right? If you've put it in places where people can find it, people will eventually, they'll be looking for it and they will find it, right? And so then it becomes passive income because you don't have to do a whole lot of work to sell the book, okay? But passive income is not a set it and forget it, right? It is something that you're going to have to, keep tabs on, and we'll talk more about that later. So what is the third type of income?
Portfolio or leveraged income.
Mm-hmm.
This is income generated from investments such as stocks, bonds, or other financial assets. Proverbs chapter 13, verse 11 says, "Wealth gained hastily will dwindle, but whoever gathers little by little will increase it." This type of income grows over time, leveraging resources for maximum effect.
Okay, so the third type of income is what we call portfolio or leverage, okay? Meaning you take money that you have produced, now you're going to invest it. And because it's called leveraged income, because once you invest it, right, you don't need to do anything else except for, pay attention to it and make sure that it's performing. But the work then is done by others. Okay. So you might have a person who is in charge of your portfolio that moves stocks and bonds in and out of your portfolio. Or you might have, when you invest in a mutual fund, you have, you put your monies in it, but it is pooled with other investors. You're invested in about 30 to 100 companies. Those companies are doing work, okay, that is yielding income that you are leveraging, okay, for income. And so it's important to have all three of these types of income working for you, okay? So now that we've talked about the types of income, let's talk about how we can allocate in those three different types, right? So you have something really that's called like your total revenue. All your money's coming in from the various income sources. So how do we allocate, right? How much should come from active? How much should come from passive? How much should come from leveraged income? All right. That is the question. That is the question. All right. So we're going to give you an idea of a balanced approach. This is very general, of course, because we don't know each of your situations out there that may be watching. But this is something ideally that you can start with if you have no plan at all. All right. So active income.
In the beginning stages, active income will likely be higher. However, the goal is to reduce dependence on active income over time to free up our efforts for kingdom work.
Absolutely. So in the beginning, your active income is going to be a lot higher. But as you go along, you want to get to a point where your active income is 40 to 50% of your total revenue. Okay. Again, that is something to shoot for. And again, depending on who you are, that could be different. Some people are like, look, I only want to be at 30% active income. Okay. So you need to plan accordingly, right? But a good goal to shoot for is get to a place 40 to 50% is active income. Naila, one of the things that I love to do is, all right, let me see if I can do something that is passive income that will pay a bill, right? This is what I'm saying for people that you can just start very, very small, because oftentimes we think this stuff has to be really, really grand, right? So let's say that you have a, I don't know, a Netflix bill, okay? Every month is $16 or whatever it is these days, because I don't have Netflix. So $16, let's say that's what it is, right? Challenge yourself to find a way to pay for that bill passively, right? So that's what I have done. I have taken certain things and I've said, okay, let me see if I can find a way to pay this bill passively. Okay. So just keep that in mind. Let's talk about, we're going into passive income. All right, go ahead.
Passive income. Imagine income streams that allow you to serve the kingdom full time. This income should eventually form a significant part of your revenue.
Absolutely. Okay. So the goal here, I hope you all caught what Naila said. The goal here is that we want to be able to serve, to give more time to the kingdom. More time, more talent, more of our money. We want to be that's what the goal is. Okay. So we're not just striving to get 40 to 50% of our income, only to get to a place where 40 to 50% of our income is provided actively, or 30 to 40% passively. We're not doing that just for personal gain, not us in the kingdom. Okay. We're doing it so that we can give more to the kingdom. All right, Naila, let's talk about the third type.
Portfolio or leveraged income. Mm-hmm. This grows as we invest wisely and steward finances over time.
Absolutely. So you want this to make up 20 to 30% of your total revenue. Okay. That is something to strive for. Now, there will be other people who say, eventually, I want even better percentages than these, as I was saying earlier. Maybe you want, at some point, you only want to be 30% of your income coming from active, and you want 40 or 50% coming from passive, and maybe 30, from portfolio or whatever, however the math works out. But these are the things that we need to be thinking about. And I don't think that as kingdom citizens that we think about this enough, if at all. Many of us, if we look at how we are getting income, we only have one type of income, and typically it is active. Okay, so we want to get out of that. All right, what is our scripture for reflection?
Luke chapter 12, verse 48 tells us, "From everyone who has been given much, much will be demanded. As our income diversifies, so do our responsibilities. We're called not just to earn, but to multiply for the kingdom."
Absolutely. So as God blesses you to reduce your active income, you're going to have much more responsibility. Okay. That's why I was saying the goal is that we are to give more, that we're to serve more. We will have more responsibility to carry out the business of the kingdom. All right. So now what we want to do is talk about some practical application for us as kingdom citizens, because y'all know how I love to do every week when you come here. I don't want to just talk in theory. I want to give you something that you can actually do today, right? All right. So what is our first step for practical application.
Evaluate your current income sources.
Mm-hmm.
Take stock of where your income is coming from now. Are you overly reliant on one source? Proverbs chapter 21 verse 5 says, "The plans of the diligent lead surely to abundance." Start planning to diversify your income streams, keeping in mind that too much reliance on any single source can create vulnerability.
Absolutely. Absolutely. So it is not wise to have just one income source. Listen, things happen, right? Your that income source, it could close its doors. It can shut down. People can no longer have a demand for it, whatever that income source is. And if that is all that you had, if that was the only income source you had, you're gonna be in trouble for a little bit, right? Because now you have to go out and figure out what else to do. But if you've diversified your income sources, then you don't have to worry so much about that type of vulnerability. Now listen, nothing is 100%, but surely if you've got more than one kind of income, it will soften the blow if you even feel it. Okay, so that is practical application step number 1. Take stock of where your income is coming from now. Do you have these 3 covered? All right, what's step 2, Nay?
Start building passive income streams.
Mm-hmm.
Ask yourself, what assets can you put to work? This could mean starting with small investments or side hustles that require minimal ongoing input. For example, if you have skills others can benefit from, could you create an online course, write a book, or invest in rental property?
Absolutely. So this reminds me, I always tell people, like, everybody should have some sort of side hustle. Okay, no one should just have a 9 to 5. Even a person running a small business, and if your business only has one income stream, I'm like, your business needs to have other income streams, or there's something else that should be generating income for you. Okay. And as Naila said, it should be something that requires minimal ongoing input, right? So less time that you have to put in, but higher yield. And that exists. Okay. I'm reminded of the story in the Old Testament about the widow and her jar of oil, right? Her husband died. The sons, he had a lot of debt. They were coming to collect the debt. And if she couldn't pay the debt, traditionally what would happen is they would take your children into slavery, and your children would work off that debt. And she didn't want that to happen to her sons. So she spoke to the prophet, and the prophet asked her, "What do you have in your hand?" Okay. And that's what step 2 is all about. It's about, what skills do you already have that you can put to work? All right. Number 3.
Embrace the long game with portfolio income.
Mm-hmm.
Investing is a long-term strategy. Psalms chapter 1 verse 3 reminds us that the righteous are like a tree planted by streams of water, which yields its fruit in season. Diversifying into investments that grow over time allows us to build a legacy that outlasts our daily efforts.
Absolutely. That Psalm 1:3 is a very powerful verse. Like a tree planted by streams of waters. We know that trees that are planted by streams of waters are very strong, right? Their roots have really dug into the ground, and they're going to yield their fruit in due season every time. And so investing for the long term is doing that, right? Making sure that, you are planted by some streams of water. Okay. And in due season, you're going to have yield. All right. Due season can be 7 years from now, 10 years from now, or, whatever, according to your plan, right? You're like, okay, I don't want to work actively 80%, 90% of the time. I want to be working 40% active by age whatever, 55, right? Whatever the age is. Did you know that you could sit down and plan that? Absolutely. All right. So what's number 4?
Step 4 is reassess.
Mm-hmm.
Step 4 is reassess regularly.
That gets you every time, doesn't it? Regularly
with kingdom purpose in mind. It's crucial to revisit your income sources annually, asking if they align with kingdom priorities. Are these streams allowing you to give more, serve more, and build more of God's kingdom? Remember that 2 Corinthians chapter 9 verse 8 promises, and God is able to bless you abundantly, so that in all things, that at all times, having all that you need, you will abound in every good work.
Yes. And as I mentioned earlier, that this is not a set and forget it. Okay. You are going to have to come back and reassess your income streams. This is at least annually. When you start to diversify, I would say do it maybe quarterly, and then get to twice a year, and then annually as you get the hang of things, right? Because again, what an income stream that you had going may not last forever, or maybe it's not yielding what it used to yield, and now you've got to consider some other things. So it's never set it and forget it. You have got to assess it at least once a year. Okay. So now we're going to give a closing thought. We're going to issue our challenge for the week, and we're going to get out of here. Let y'all have your Thursday back. Okay. So many people look at wealth building and think it's about personal success or worldly gain, but in the kingdom, okay, financial growth is about freeing ourselves so that we can be more effective servants, so that we can be more effective stewards. See, when we're not tied to just one income source, we are more available to the kingdom, right? So that we can all work towards kingdom purpose. So imagine, okay, a pocket of believers where they aren't stressed out by active income, right? Or not just in the income itself, but they're stressed out by the needs, right? I have to go to work and work these hours because I have these needs. I've got these bills. I've got these obligations. But can you imagine just pockets of believers everywhere who are not stressed out by their active income needs, right? They can serve at a moment's notice. They can give at the drop of a dime, right? Forget all the pockets of believers. What about you? What about you? Imagine you not being stressed by active income needs so that you can serve at a moment's notice, or you could give at the drop of a dime, right? This is the power of diversified kingdom income. All right. So what's our challenge for this week?
Our challenge for the week is look at your current income mix and ask, what can I begin developing to add a passive or portfolio income stream to my finances? Let's aim to diversify our income in ways that align with kingdom values, building financial freedom that enables us to serve boldly.
Absolutely. So thank you for issuing the viewers their challenge for this week. Okay. What can you begin developing to add passive or portfolio income stream to your finances? All right. So I want to just remind you all, or if you haven't heard already, this is an announcement to you, but we are having our webinar on November 19th. Okay. It's part of the Stop Begging, Start Stewarding series. This one is on money mindset, because what we're sharing with you here today and what we share with you every week requires a certain kind of mindset. It requires a kingdom mindset, because what we are saying and teaching here is usually diametrically opposed to what the world teaches. Okay. And so in order for us to be successful in these things, we have to be grounded in kingdom mindset, kingdom scripture, which will influence our mindset, which will then influence our behaviors, right? So that we can be the successful stewards, be the effective servants that God calls us to be. So the link is in the comments for the the link is in the comments for the webinar. Okay, so make sure that you register. Don't wait till the last minute to do so. Okay, because there's no telling if you will actually get in the room if you wait until that last minute. Okay, so don't wait. Other thing is, this webinar is step 1 in the Stop Begging God for Money guide. Okay, 7 steps to radical godly stewardship. That is a free resource. And then you can click, and there's a link down there that you can click. Okay, it's a Stop Begging Guide is what you'll see at bit.ly/stop begging guide. The webinar is bit.ly/stop begging webinar. Okay, listen, God is not, he's like, why are you begging me for? I've given you everything that you need. Okay, so read my words, see what you need, bring your life into alignment with that so that you can reap the promises. Because I didn't just write the promises. This is, God, he didn't just write the promises for, just so that it looked good. No, he actually honors his word. Okay. So thank you for tuning in. If today's episode has challenged you, leave us a comment. Make sure to subscribe. Join our Patreon community. The link is in the comments as well, or in the description as well. And until next time, okay? Until next time, keep producing, keep multiplying, and keep dominating. God bless.